And there are two and two, one against another.
There are two and two, one against another, man. You see that? So they were struggling in Rebecca's womb because they were against one another, man. That's why the prophet had to come, had to hit up with the news. Had to hit up with what the Mosai said. The Mosai said, look, you got two sons in your womb. And they're going to beget children and formulate two nations. And they're going to be separate from one another. There's going to be enmity between the two of them because one is good and the other one is evil, man. One is godly and the other one, people is sinners, man. Wicked. I mean, Jacob, we're sinners too. We're wicked as hell as well. But the Mosai formed us to give him praise, man.
Yeah, come on. This is Romans 9, verse 8. And it says that they which are the children of the flesh. For this is the word of the Most High promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived, by one, even by our father Isaac. Verse 11. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand.
See that? It says, even though I said good is set against evil, the scripture that the brother has said is, before they even did any good or evil, that the purpose of his will shall stand, roughly paraphrasing, man.
Election,
Meaning, it was already predicted what both of them was going to later on become. It was already prophesied. It was already established. It was already predestined. What each of those fraternal twins was going to later on, the works that they were going to bring, the fruit that they would later on bring forth. One would bring forth corrupt fruit, and the other one would bring forth good fruit, man.
Now, if I may read some more too, because it says, not of works, but of him that called him. And I just want to elaborate on that, because they both, if you look at Jacob and Esau, they both did with their father. Well, actually, it was Esau. Esau was told by his father Isaac to get him some venison, and make the food for him. And Esau make the food for him, right? But it says, yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that called him. So even though Esau did what he was supposed to do, it was not of works, but it was unto him that called him. Meaning Jacob was called to get the blessing rather than Esau. He was already set up in the spirit. That's what I wanted to say on that. You know?
See? So it's all been set off through the spirit, man. This is what Esau can't fight against this, man. You know, Esau putting up in a limousine. How did you lot find out? Hey man, it was already written thousands of years ago, man.
They can spend money to stop it.
Yeah. You can use your little FRNs, you know, corruptible Federal Reserve notes. You think you can stop thousands of years worth of prophecy? You're a fucking man, man. Your little Federal Reserve notes gonna do to the word of Yahawah, man. How did you find out? Like you're above the Lord, man. Like you can pay off prophecy. You just gonna come with your little briefcase and stop prophecy. With your fucking briefcase, excuse my language, man.
Gold and silver. They have gold and silver.
You can pay niggas in certain camps off to stop the flow of the word, man. It's good to say our word does not return back onto the void. It doesn't do that. It means it will accomplish that whereunto it's been sent. Esau was another clay formed by the hands of the Most High. How can the clay turn around and say, how can he do that?
It actually says it right here.
You know, it's to say man has made many inventions, man. Man can come with his inventions and stop the whole game of the Lord. Who's got something? He has something to see the words.
No, not yet.
It's not finished.
Yeah, I can see the word. I can see the word here. It says, right, it was said unto her, I'm in verse 12 now, the elder shall serve the younger, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? God forbid.
So read that again.
Verse 12, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger.
The elder shall serve the younger, man. Meaning, good is either going to serve evil, or evil is going to serve good. The godly is going to serve the sinful nation, or the sinful nation is going to serve the godly nation, man. The earth is too small to contain them both. You can't be on equal levels. Martin Luther King, I have a dream. You know, we gonna hold hands. Little Edomite girls and Edomite, Israelite boys hold hands and eat equality. Said that with that pastor. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But the scripture says the elder gonna serve, one of them two twins gonna wind up serving one another. There's no holding hands there because there was no peace in Rebecca's room. Otherwise she wouldn't know what was going to the prophet to find out what the hell's going on inside of him. There was always some type of madness going on inside of her. She was probably vomiting. You know when a woman is, pregnant, she vomiting.
Morning sickness, isn't it?
There's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah. That's what they call it anyway.
Probably vomiting.
Can't sleep.
Couldn't sleep. Demons on her. What kind of visions probably? Because remember, that's a lot of energy inside of her. That's two nations in her womb. And look at what the two nations became. The two mightiest nations on planet Earth. So she must have been all jacked up in the spirit, man. She had to go to a prophet to find out what was going on, because that's normal for a woman to vomit, and she doesn't need to go to a prophet for that, man. That's just normal, like labor and pain, and you know what I'm saying? Any woman can give a testimony of how when she was given birth to, before when she was pregnant, she was, vomiting and all that shit. All the women can tell you about that shit. But Rebecca, she was going through some shit to the point where she had to go to a spiritual man, a holy man, to find out what the fuck was going on, man. So read on. Go on, read something. Hold on, go on.
Psalms 58 and 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the root. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. I just want to bring that out in relation to Esau coming out of the womb, because it was preordained that he'd be the wicked. And when he came out of the womb, he was estranged from it. So when he was crying about saying that, Jacob supplied me these 2 times, he never really had the birthright to begin with, because the Most High didn't set him up to have the birthright. He made him to despise it. That's the point I wanted to bring out.
About how she wants to return to the Exactly. You said evil, from the root. That's an evil spirit inside.
Yeah.
It manifested as a body.
That's deep. That's deep. Meaning Satan is inside of her. She's about to give birth to Satan, man.
Son of Satan.
And then the son of the Most High. So that's like, the scripture says, Lucifer, you shall, was it in Isaiah 14, man? It says, Lucifer, thou shalt be cast down.
Thou son of the morning.
Yeah. Thou the weakest of nations. You know, that's Esau. Yeah? Because he's gonna be cast down when Yahawashi come back, man.
Isaiah 14, starting 11, it says, thy pomp is brought down to the ground, the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Right, how's that fallen from heaven? Meaning his rulership, man. His heaven. His earth. First heavens and first earth. And he's fallen from that. And it would have said that when they were born, Jacob was holding his heel. Right. So it's going to be us, beginning with Yahawashi, that's going to take Esau down, the Lucifer, our power, man, from his heaven.
And the word Lucifer is the bearer of light, meaning Esau is bearing his wisdom, understanding on the earth, which is of wickedness, which is no wisdom, really. You understand what I'm saying? So all of that is going to be taken down, and he's taken down. And our wisdom and our light is going to forth to shine.
Yeah. Because his light is really darkness, man. Because the only light is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Yeah.
That's the way, the truth, and the life, man. His light is really darkness, man. Go ahead. You got something.
Yeah, it's still a bit more. It just says, how art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations?
Been cut down to the ground, man.
In fact, there's more. It says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahawah. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Yeah, but there's the Most High that put him there, man. It was the Most High that put him there. The Most High put Esau up on a level. Okay? Because that was the prophecy. Esau didn't do that by his own works. The Most High used him. Put the spirit upon him. Put thoughts and put spirits and angels and demons to guide him into that position. Because Daniel saw the vision of Greece and ancient pagan Rome. And the 10 horns and the little horn that spoke blasphemy, man. He saw that before those empires was even on earth, man. And who was ruling those empires? Esau, the man of sin. So, and what the scripture say? He was saying, he said, I shall ascend into heaven.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
Yeah.
I will be like the Most High.
Right?
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Yeah.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms?
You see that?
That made the world a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners.
You see that? So it shows you that the Most High gave Esau a lot of power, man. The Most High gave this so-called white man, okay, the evil twin, okay, the fraternal twin brother of Jacob, yeah, who represents evil, that represents, okay, the sinner, all right. The Most High put the spirit upon that man to get power in the earth to the point where you see now. Look around. This is Esau's works, right? His buildings, his roads, his devices, man. You can hear the vehicles, man. This is all Esau's works, man. All right. Even these mobile phones, man. These clothes we're wearing. This is all Esau, the money we're spending. The roofs over our heads. This is all Esau. But by the power of the Most High. And what he said, he did weaken the nations, man. And he made the earth to tremble. What's the Most High cooking up around the world right now? nuclear war. Right? Alright? Nuclear missiles, man.
And brother, if I may add as well to what you're saying, that's what the brother was reading, because he said he was himself on the sides of the Lord. And as it says in the book of Matthew, he that exalted himself shall be abased. Because I also want to revert back to what was done in 1969 when they basically brought forth or professed that line saying that they've made it to the moon. So the minute they've made or they've declared that line to the American public all around the world, that's the minute they started going downhill. And ever since then, you had the hippie era, and them people, they were, you know, which was those kind of people getting involved in drugs and what happened. So from that point in time, from 1969 onwards, America just started going downhill. All right. And I'll get back to the brothers.
Obadiah, verse 8. Shall I not in that day serve the Lord Yahawashi, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and the understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men of Teman shall be displayed to the end, that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by sword.
I take it, brother, go to verse, I think it's in verse 3.
Thy pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Yeah, and that's another indication of expressing his level of pride, because look at those buildings, man. Look at the buildings, and especially the building that we're right next to. That's the expression of his pride, and that's what he believes. He believes he's too, like you have the term among the elites, right? The banking construct. They're too big to fail. That's why you have that term out there, as they've probably made out themselves, because that's how they feel in their own spirit. They feel like they're too big to fail. But I want you to continue on, brother.
Okay, verse 4. Thou that exalt thyself as an eagle.
Right, thou exalt
thyself as an eagle.
Thou exalt thyself as the eagle, because when they declared that line saying they made it to the moon, what did they say? The eagle has landed. So the minute, again, once they declared that lie to the public around the world, that's the minute America was never the same anymore. And that's why you had, during the 70s, you had these different riots that was going on. You had a group of Judites that were getting together by the what is it, man? They were known as, they were known as the Black Panthers, and you had the Black Stone Rangers, and even amongst Ephraim, you had them gathering themselves together and protesting their problems as well. Okay, so you had all of this confusion that was going on in the 70s.
And thou that set thy nest among the stars, whence will I bring you down to the Lord Yahawashi?
So now the Lord is bringing them down now. And ever since from that particular point to right now, they're being brought down to where they were before. Because me personally, like I did some kind of research on the 60s, and me personally, I believe the 60s was like the height. That was the height of the so-called white male. Now the 40s were good times too economically, but I'm saying in the 60s was like the pinnacle, the apex of the so-called white man. So from that particular point in time, when they declared that line in the 60s, their society just went downhill. All right, everything went downhill, man. From that spiritual, I would say. That's all I want to say, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. So the Most High has given this man power.
Yep.
Okay. So Sirach chapter 10, verse 4, it says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time you set over it one that is profitable, meaning in due time. Meaning right now, you got a bunch of people on planet earth that is not profitable, man. The Lord said he gave, the earth is given to the hands of who? Wicked, man. So they're not profiting nothing. The whole world is going to shit. And the whole earth is in an uproar. People around the world are rising up against their governments. The earth is in an upheaval. even the very elements, man. All kind of crazy weather conditions, man. You know what I'm saying? The earth is turning inside out under the rulership of Esau, man. Well, what's that?
Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24 and 4, it says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away.
Hear that? The earth is mourning. The earth is languishing and it's fading away. When they say the fashions of this earth are fading away, man. Passeth away, should I say.
Yeah.
Where
It says the haughty people of the earth do languish.
the haughty people of the earth do languish. What did it say in 2nd Esdras, man? For many great miseries shall come upon them in the latter time, in the end, because they have walked in great pride, man.
That's right.
The haughty people do languish, man. Pride, man. I done a video about that, man. Pride. That's an ancient demon, man. And it's because of pride. Because people don't think about the Most High. It's not in all their thoughts. Because people are going about after their own covetousness, man. When a man has pride, that's when you depart from the Most High. And you have other vain obligations that you tended to, man. To puff yourself up. Where
Verse 5, it says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
the earth is defiled, man. You gotta have people having sex with chickens, man. There's a fucking footage of a fucking dude having sex with a chicken, man. Right. Humping a chicken.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah. Having sex with animals alone.
Fucking hell.
Dogs and all kind of nonsense. Eating all kind of animals, man. Not separating clean from unclean.
That's why the Most High made those things.